one of them. So there are so many other things like what will I use as an example now? I mentioned wallet counts, um, you know, move outflow and inflow into centralized exchanges. So you can use on-chain analysis to see, okay, um, people are sending money into exchanges, and that also sometimes signifies near markets because when at the beginning of the bull market, um, the beginning of the bull market, people are taking their tokens off exchanges because, of course, they want to have 100% control of their tokens. But I don't know whether it was here that I explained that. But when the bear market is starting, people get to send their money to exchanges to sell because that's where liquidity is. So I don't know if I've done justice to that. Did you get me clearly? Did I clarify what you're asking? Your mic is bad. Oh. Your network is bad. I mean. So, Prince, can you hear me? I think Jay's network is bad.
Yeah, you're audible enough.
Okay. Okay. So today we are going to be looking at an interesting topic, an interesting one. Mhm. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay. Okay. So today we are looking at investing in crypto. Okay. So before I start, how many of us you want to make money in the crypto space? You've heard people say they bought money with $10 and it went to us or something of that nature. Can you guys hear me? How many of us would love to?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, I said that we'll be looking at investing in cryptos. Okay.
Okay.
So I wanted most of us who must have heard people say they made $1,000, they made social amounts from crypto and all whatnot. How many of us would love to, make money? What are your expectations? Maybe when you start investing, that if you've not started. If you've started, how much have you made so far? All right.
Are you asking a question or
Yeah, yeah, I'm answering the question.
okay? That was our aim or what?
I see, some of you must have heard about people making money in the crypto space. So we are talking about RPT. So we are talking about investing in crypto. Okay. So you must have heard people. Maybe I don't know if everybody here has been able to buy crypto at any point or own crypto at any point. So I want to know like what are your expectations knowing about crypto, if the person who would like to invest in crypto in order to get returns or something of that nature. Yeah. So that's the question I was asking.
Okay. So basically, what I'm looking forward to in this class is how to spot the next, is it Shiba Inu? Is it Shiba Inu? The one that did, is it 10 times in the last bull run? So how to spot that? That's that's what I'm looking at tonight. And I don't know about the technical aspects of crypto. Can you actually take us on that? Like how
About what?
to the technical analysis or
We have a course on that, all right? We have a course on that. That's crypto. We have a course on crypto and forex trading. We have a course on that. So that's beyond the scope of what we are taking for the bootcamp. We can start teaching technical analysis. It's a different thing altogether. Or will I
okay,
say it's more advanced altogether? So, but you can actually join the training.
okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, so who else is speaking? How much are you expecting to make in the bull run? And let's say I'm asking bull run. How much are you anticipating to make in the crypto space? You've heard people say talking about investing in crypto and people making a whole lot of money. Prince is saying that he wants to be able to identify the next Shiba Inu. I think no, I don't think Shiba Inu's record has been broken so far. So yeah. It's looking that went from 12 zeros to 4 zeros. So it means that if you bought it on the day of launch at 12 zeros, um, and you bought with $1, you would be a millionaire in dollars as of now. Yeah. So crypto can be that crazy. So, but I want to look at something very physical. Investing in crypto. I'm going to say because when I did the introduction on blockchain and cryptocurrency. We took crypto separately, and we talked about. Let me share this slide on YouTube. Okay, final version. So we did a more focused section on cryptocurrency. We talked about it being borderless. We talked about it being decentralized and a whole lot of other things like that. Okay. So, but now we want to look into investing in crypto. So, when you are investing in crypto, what should you be looking out for? Um, is very, 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 very um, important that we understand this. And I would love us to either keep this video bookmarked. Maybe when it's uploaded on YouTube, keep it bookmarked so that you can always make reference to it. I tell you, as long as you remain in this crypto space, in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, you are still going to come back to make reference to this. Or you are with your writing materials, you can jot down some things. I'll be speaking to you from my wealth of experience, because we've seen a lot in the space. We've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. and is very, very important. Just like the reason we're having this is so that um, um, so that we can save the time and save you some mistakes that you naturally want to naturally make out of as a regard of your greed or fear. So of course that's one thing that controls the market. People's bias, bias behavior is basically greed and fear. So but we won't actually be going into that now. But I hope I'm very audible. So when we talk about investing, we're talking about parting away with valuable resources, something valuable, with the hope that you are going to get something much more valuable than what you are willing to let go. Okay, just like somebody buying land, you are passing away with 1 million, with 200,000, or with 500,000. Buying a land in with the hope that in the next 5 years, that 500,000 that you pass with would have appreciated, you part with to get an asset. That asset would have over time been that asset would have over time appreciate to maybe 2x or 3x, or 5 times the money that you invested there. So we're investing. Let me start with a disclaimer. I'm not an invest. It's not an investment advice, so it's out of experience and for educational purpose. So, first is everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to put in $100 to get something much more. Wants to put 1 million. Nobody wants to make losses in the crypto space or in any space. Anytime investment is mentioned, nobody is investing with the aim of losing money. Okay, but now when you come to the general outlook of things, life itself is risky. You can, decide to start a transport business today after purchasing a car. Maybe you purchase luxurious buses or 16-seater buses. I mean, it will most likely you either use your money, or let's even worst case scenario, you borrowed money from the bank and you got those vehicles. And the first day you are going out, you know, you can have an accident. It might not be as a result of your own reckless driving. Someone else can hit you, okay, and you get to start outsourcing funds. First of all, you thank God for your life first. That's if you make it out alive. Or then you start sourcing out for funds to fix the car, get it back on the road, so you can start making money in order to pay your debt or pay your loans. Okay, so life itself is risky. That's one first thing I would always teach, because of I'm not here to promise you that you're going to make $1 million or whatsoever. It's very possible. Okay, but let's start from the fundamentals for you to know that it is risky. All right, it's risky and it's risky. So life itself is risky. Anybody who is entering any endeavor, should know that it's risky. So when it comes to the crypto space, there is this term that usually use volatile. So when we talk about the volatility of crypto, we are saying that it can. So when you hear volatile, what does volatile mean? Volatile, essentially volatile. We are saying that in respect to cryptocurrency, we are saying that um, the speed at which it can change, its price can change in relation to time is very high. Okay, so the rate at which price can change with time is very, very high. So what it means is that in the crypto space, in 1 minute, magic can happen in 1 minute actually. Especially when you are a crypto trader, magic can happen in a minute. An activity within 1 minute can, cover an activity that's been done for one day, for the whole of a day, for the whole of a week. Okay, an activity in 1 minute. Okay, so that is to say that the crypto market is very, very volatile. And the reason why the cryptocurrency market is volatile is because of the nature of the assets in question. Okay. Now there is a video I want to do. I've not done that, but I think we can find um topics on that type of asset class. So when we talk about asset class, we're talking about, I'll just talk basically about two, um, liquid and solid asset class. And cryptocurrency falls under the liquid asset class. So when you talk about the solid asset class, these are asset class that when you purchase such assets, there is um or let me just use a comparison to explain it. The liquid asset class, it is more easy. It's more easy to buy and sell the liquid asset class. Okay, it's more easy to buy and sell the liquid asset class, and it's more difficult to buy and sell the solid asset class. So the solid asset class are tangible assets, like physical tangible assets that you can hold, like house, land, cars, you know. I'm not saying that you cannot sell your house very fast, but you can't compare it with liquid asset class like stocks, like like Bitcoin, like cryptos. Cryptos fall under the liquid asset class, so you can just quickly sell. And because it's you can quickly sell those liquid asset class, it makes it very easy for it to be volatile. Okay, even if you want to sell your house, no matter it might take a while for you to get a buyer, you know. So that's basically why the cryptocurrency market is volatile. Okay. And that also impacts when decisions are being made, maybe fundamental analysis, something that would negatively impact the economy. The asset class feels it the most because if there is a bad news, for example, how fast can you sell? Okay, how fast can you sell your house? How far can you sell your car? How far can you sell your gold? In insurgents or emergency or life-threatening situation, it's challenging. So when a good thing is happening, who benefits the most? The liquid asset class, because people can easily buy it. If a negative thing is happening, maybe it's something that is affecting the global economics negatively, who feels it the most? The liquid asset class. So this is the major reason why the cryptocurrency is volatile, because it falls under the liquid asset class. So with this in mind, you now know that it's very important that you stay in the know about global economics. Okay, what actually causes price changes, what actually triggers bear markets, bull markets, market going up, market going down, because you don't want to be caught in the middle. If you are being caught unaware, the damage can be very devastating. Those of you that have been in our community since August, in August, we have a premium community where we tell people to buy, we recommend tokens for people to buy. Okay, we recommend tokens for people to buy. And since August, we told them bull market has ended. This was after Bitcoin went to 124K or 123K and came down around 111 or 110. We told them the bull market is over. Why? Because we have I've seen two or three bull markets, 2 or 3 bull seasons. Yeah, 2.5 bull seasons, and I know what it looks like. Okay, I know the factors that triggers it. I know what happens at the peak of the bull market. What is the major sentiment? Greed. Okay, so I told our premium. In fact, we even stopped collecting subscription fee. Most since then, we've not collected subscription fee from anybody. Why? Because we told them the bull season has ended. And I posted it in the community. that whatever we are going to see now is what is a bull trap. In trading, there's what is called a bull trap. So the bull trap is when there is a major downward trend and market picking up it, and people think that maybe the downward trend has ended and they hop in only for people to crash the market because there must be liquid. The market must be liquid. There must be people who are buying for people for those who want to sell to sell. You get, so they need people who will buy at a favorable price for those persons, for the majority who want to sell to keep selling. You get, so that's why it's very important that you cannot, some of you maybe you must have understood how important this training is, especially for those of you who would want to build careers in the blockchain space. This is not an industry where you enter without knowledge. It is dangerous. It's not an industry where you enter without knowledge. I've seen people cry. I've seen people who, because they decide to overlook knowledge. So as we were discussing, we said blockchain, sorry, not blockchain now, the cryptocurrency, which is an application of blockchain in finance, is volatile because it's in the liquid asset class. Okay, so that's what makes it volatile. And that's why, as long as you are not in control of global economics, what you do, you don't control global economics. What you do is to leverage on global economics to take financial decisions. Just like saying, then I sold up all my tokens. I sold up all my tokens. Yes, Bitcoin later did the bull trap. I said it went pumped higher than the previous high. Broke 53, went to 25. Where is it today? It's close to 80K. Close to 80K. You get, so one very important thing, I think I'm already teaching, you should be taking notes down. One very important thing is that you must control your greed. I told us that there are two things that control that influences the decisions of people. Yes, fundamental analysis is there, but two major emotional factors is your greed and your fear. So what happens in terms of your greed? When your greed is in play, you become unreasonable. In fact, in both of them, you become unreasonable. You stop thinking like a rational person. You stop thinking like somebody who has knowledge. You start thinking of, wow, this token that I bought yesterday, I bought with $10. It's now in $30. Hey, how I wish I put $100. Okay, token that has done 300%. You are wishing that you put $100 and you went to look for $100 and you put there. So your portfolio is now what? $130. Is that not so? People that have made money that are satisfied with their 300% will decide to sell. And when they decide to sell, market can go down and retrace by 50%. Had it been you were still holding, you would still be on 150% profit. But because you've added $100 to your $30, you'll now be seeing a total minus of what now? You'll now be seeing a total minus of 130 divided by $265. So you've lost your capital, your initial capital, and you won't lost some more money. That's what greed can do. Okay. So you must be able to monitor your greed. It's usually in our technical analysis class, that's our crypto trading class, that we actually get to do a proper class or training on greed and fear. I'm just giving us a highlight. So there are certain things you need to do when you notice that you are now becoming unreasonably greedy. Secondly is fear. Fear occurs when there is massive decline in the market and many people are selling off, and you are tempted to sell off as well. So If initially, yes, there is a one is that you must set your loss limit. There are sometimes you sell and markets start going back up. You need to stick to your principles. As long as you obey your principles, you need to be alright with your decision, whether they turn out favorable or not. Okay. So the system, the market rewards disciplined people over irrational people. Okay. So let's say, for example, there was a token I've been calling in the community after. I hope some of us have gotten that. Okay. We called after 0.8, it went down, it goes 0.7 or so. Currently, it's still above $1. So we are still on profit even with the whole dip. Now, let's say, for example, Asta start going down to 0.5. And the initial reason why you bought that token is for you to hold for 5 years or for you to hold for 2 years. And you're opening your wallet every day, every 30 minutes, you open your wallet to know what price. Feeding your mind with fear. And it will get to a point, maybe after 1 day or after 2 days, you will convince yourself that, Kai, let me just save this loss. Let me just save this loss. You know it was an amount of money you can pass for 5 years. It was not going to affect your lifestyle or your cost of living. Okay? That brings us down to before you invest, what should you do? Or the do's and don'ts in investing in crypto. One of the don'ts, let me start from the don'ts, is that you don't invest with borrowed money. Don't borrow money to invest. Don't try it. Don't try it. You don't uh, borrow money to invest. Why? Because it's supposed to be investment is supposed a crypto investment is supposed to be such that you invest an amount of money you are willing to lose, or you have a risk management strategy to reduce the amount of losses. Because like we say, we remember we started by saying that crypto market is what? Volatile. Okay? The crypto market is volatile. So you don't put in the amount of money you are not willing to lose. Okay? So that's one very important thing we always say, you don't borrow money. Especially when it comes to trading, like futures trading. You don't borrow money, you can lose it. If you lose it, what now happens? So it's better to have uh now this thing is want to take me to teach us some principles of investing. Now, when you are investing money in anything at all, okay, when you're investing money in anything at all, I'll recommend this book. It's very important. It will help you. The Richest Man in Babylon. Okay, so as a student, and also Rich Dad Poor Dad. How many of us have read any of these books I mentioned? How many of us have read any of the books I've mentioned? You can raise your hand up, or you can type it in the comment. You can raise your hand up or type it in the comment. I strongly recommend those two books. Richest Man in Babylon and Rich Dad Poor Dad. Rich Dad Poor Dad will teach you a lot. In fact, it's one of the most simplest book on finance. Very educative and transformative. So you basically understand what liability and assets are. Asset is what brings money in, liability is what takes money out. Okay, so you need to have a source of income before investing in cryptos. You must have a source of income. Some of you are students. You can say your source of income are your parents. Okay, you can say your source of income are your parents. Some of you work. You can say the work that you do is your source of income. So now, for you to invest in crypto, you invest disposable money. Disposable money. That disposable money now, I mean, in a month, for example, you spend 50,000. Okay, like your need. I'm not talking about your want. Like you manage your money, you're not spending money carelessly. You are just focusing on what you truly need. You're spending just 50K. But because of other ones and excesses, they're sending you 70K or they're sending you 60K. Your parents, or let's say your parents sending you 60K and you're spending, and your needs is 50K. So it means that in every month you have a disposable 10,000. Whatsoever you do with that 10,000 shows whether you are financially wise or ignorant. Okay. So the same thing with maybe you're working, you must set apart a particular amount of money. If you read The Richest Man in Babylon, it tells you that if you are, even if all the money you're in is not enough for you to manage your life and the rest of them, if you remove 10% of what you earn and save it, it will not change your standard of living. It will not make you feel more, it will not make you more miserable. So you set up a particular amount of money and you now say, okay, 10,000 is what I have spare every month. I'm going to save it. I'm going to invest it. So sometimes you might want to invest in something, but the money you have every month is not enough to invest. Maybe you want to buy a land and the land is 10 million and what you have every month is 500,000 or 100,000. So you need to save for a particular period of time before you can invest. Fortunately enough, in cryptocurrency, you can invest with anything. 100 naira, 500 naira, 1,000, you can invest. Okay, so you must have the money you're setting apart for investing. The reason why we are concerned is that so that you are not under pressure when you decide to go into something long term, you're not under pressure on the short term to change your mind or to take decisions that would negatively impact the decision you've taken earlier. It has happened to me several times. Okay. Especially sometimes when you have to solve some family problems. You touch money you don't want to touch, and before you place it, the market has left you because the market is not waiting for you either. So, like I was saying, make sure that if disposable income that you are using, I've talked about greed. Um, Now let's do we have any questions so far? I think we don't have much time. Let me start trying to be as fast as possible. If you are following me so far, I want to see an emoji. Drop an emoji for me if you have been following. Okay. I'm seeing just on Jerry. Other persons, are you cool here with me or you just want to mark attendance? Or you just want to mark attendance? Okay. Okay, good. Two people we can go. All right. Now, there's something I always see. What I want to talk about now is do your own research. Do your own research. I always say something that someone can tell you to buy a token, just like I've told us to buy a token. All right, told us to buy a token. You cannot hear me. How is that possible? Can any other person hear me? Jay is saying he can't hear me.
I can
If
hear
you can
you.
hear me, can you give me an emoji?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Gee, that might be from your network. Oh. Okay, but I'll try to be more audible. So the thing I always say under do your own research is I can tell you to buy a token. For example, I've been saying buy Asta, buy Asta, buy Asta. Now I can tell you to buy a token, but you can decide to sell anytime. So somebody can tell you to buy a token and you buy, but what will make you hold that token is your personal conviction. Though your conviction might still lie on the person's conviction, but it must still be your your conviction. That's why doing your own research, $1 million or around $2 million or something. She held it for 3 years. It was conviction. It's not because somebody told her to buy it. It was because of her personal conviction in the belief of what the person told her or the personal research that she has done. So yes, crypto can actually make you a millionaire, but you must invest wisely, okay? And you must stick to what you know. The challenge of most persons is that they enter into the blockchain space without having um, a source of income. So they go into cryptocurrency full time, and most times they get their hands burnt because they they invest in some projects, later on sell off the projects to solve personal needs because they've not really broken even from they've not really broken even or have a source of income that sorts out their daily needs. Okay, so that's why I always advise people have a source of income for you to do crypto, except you are building a career in blockchain. And if you are building a career in blockchain, it's a source of income, so you should treat it as a source of income. That's it for me. I'm working with the platform. So if it's sort of income for me, I would measure that as this is the money coming in, this is the money I'm saving. Okay. So that's that. So research is very, very important. In research, I won't go into research so much. I won't go into research so much. But what I will say under research is the questions you need to ask. There's what we call white paper. So white paper is usually on the website of every project. So you need to go to their website. You need to look at the white paper. So the white paper is more or less like a blueprint of the problem those people want to solve. The blueprint of the problem those people want to solve. So the question you ask yourself, the first question you ask yourself is that is this problem these people want to solve, is it a problem? Because in the crypto space, we see lots of people saying similar things. It's just basically copy and paste. The problem they say they want to solve, is it a problem? If it's a problem, you check them one good. Okay? If the problem is actually a problem, you check them one good. Now, in that aspect of problem now, you still go there to say, this problem, okay, that's the one we'll still come to that. After checking them good, you now look at their solution. This solution these people are proposing, is it a reasonable solution to solve this reasonable problem? If this problem is valid, but the solution is not valid, it's still zero. The problem must be valid and the solution must be valid. The problem cannot be flawed and the solution will be valid. It starts from the problem. So you start from there and start taking good. So you take good for the problem, you take good for the solution. Then in that solution now, you now go and do another research. Compared to what? Yes, there is a problem. Let's use Nigeria for example. Yes, there's a problem of corruption in Nigeria. You want to solve that corruption problem. How do you want to go about it? I want to go about it by creating a decentralized financial system for the Nigerian government. That's the person's solution. Another person will say, I have integrity, I can become the president of the nation, and I'm going to stabilize everything. That's the solution. Another person can come up with so many reasons. So when you look at the solution compared to what? So you begin to look at the other projects that are solving similar problems. When you identify other projects that are solving similar problems, you now ask yourself, all these people solving this problem, which of this solution is more valid? When you're able to identify the project whose solution is more valid than the rest, you take it good and go to the next thing. What's the next thing? The team. The team in question, do they have the competence to achieve, to implement this solution? So you want to look at their background, you want to look at their previous experience. Now, at this stage, if that team cannot implement the solution, you mark everything bad and you go back to the previous level, the previous one. So you now go back to, let's say, for example, this one has the most viable solution. You look at their team is F9. You go back to start looking for solution. So you go back to number two. Maybe you just analyze number one. Their team is not good. You go back to you go to number two. You look at their team. Number two, they have good solution, but their team are bad. You go to number three. Now we forgot something. When you are looking at the problem, there is one big consideration you need to make. Every investor wants ROI, return on investment. So when you are looking at a problem, no matter how good a problem is, remember that when we are doing our first class, I said something that in cryptocurrency, price appreciates based on demand and supply. And I now said that a project will increase in price to the degree that it is demanded for and the number of people in demand for it. Understand what I'm saying? No? To the degree that it is demanded for and the amount of people in demand for it. Let's say, for example, I'm solving a wonderful problem. Like the problem I'm solving is a wonderful problem. Or let me say a very critical problem. And I came up with a solution that's an amazing solution. I came up with a team, powerful team members. But let it now be known that that problem that I solved is just unique to people in my streets. Maybe there is no gutter in my streets. I came up with a solution. Project XYZ. Let's implement it. We are going to create gutter around the street. Some gutter can pass through somebody's parlor, so you don't even need to come out in the street to pour anything. Everything just flows through an underground drainage system. No matter how wonderful that my project is, it will not fly in the international level because the people that will demand for that my solution are too small. So when you are analyzing a problem, first is that you want to compare that problem. This problem that these people want to solve, is it the most critical problem that people are interested in the blockchain space? Because somebody might want to solve a problem of, you know, robots will replace human being. Okay, people want to work. That's not the most critical problem. It can come over time. Maybe somebody has money to fund it. It can come, but that's not the most critical problem. So when you look at the problem a project wants to solve, you still need to look at other problems in other, we can call them trends or we call them industry. Which industry are people paying more attention to that needs innovation, that needs development, progress? So critically analyzing the problem in question of a project as regards to is it the most critical problem to solve? And even if this problem is solved, how many people want the solution? So if, for example, you have 5 different projects, you want to compare each of their solution, how many people need this solution? Very important. Okay. So now we come back to the team, their competence and the rest of them. Then we look at their tokenomics. Their tokenomics is token economics. The economics of the token. We talk about the team wallet, the development wallet, the marketing wallet, the community incentive wallet. All these things are different allocation of the token. So you can say we are allocating 10% for development, 20% for marketing, this, that, clinical, all those things. The green or red flag you see in a project is when a majority part of that token is being held by a few. You know that we are not talking about decentralized technology again. It's a centralized token because most persons who have the tokens are government. Are we following? If you are following, type I hear you in the comment section or you give me an emoji. I'm not seeing our listening now. Only Jerry. It's like only Jerry is on this call. Okay. 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 I think we can move ahead. So these are basically. Then we looked at another thing again to consider is your investment strategy. So there are various investment strategies. That's what is called DCA, dollar cost averaging, which means you have $100. You have $100, for example, you want to invest in a project. You can invest it periodically, like every day you invest $10, so every day you invest $1 over 100 days, or $10 over 10 days. So that's what's called dollar averaging. So the goal is so that you don't enter at one price. When you enter over time, you get more tokens than buying it at the same time. Okay, because they when it comes to cryptocurrency, even though we talk about price, but beyond price, the main thing you're asking yourself is how do I have? Because one Bitcoin will still be equals to one Bitcoin. Okay. So the fact that one Bitcoin today is 85K. In the next 10 years, one Bitcoin can be 200K. So it's one Bitcoin you're looking for is the number of tokens that you have. So you're looking for opportunity to get as much number of tokens as possible. Okay. So when it comes to investing as an investment strategy, I'm going to share with us what we recommend. So there are what we call medium, low, and high risk tokens. Okay. So this medium In cryptocurrency, remember I said that everything is risky. Oh. But even in that risky, there are risky way past risky. Like there is a level of risk that is more than other ones. Like meme token, for example. Meme token can launch to what time now? Meme token can launch at 8:40. I saw one, I was so shocked. Within 30 seconds. Crazy, will I say 30 seconds? Within 10 minutes, market has pumped up and crashed back. So in the even in the crypto market where we say things are very volatile, there are still tokens that are more volatile than others. Okay. So what we now advise is, let me categorize them. The low risk are tokens that are, yes, the whole crypto market is volatile, but these are the ones that have the least volatility. And sometimes it's because of their high market capitalization. So we are talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, all those alt tokens that are big. We can say they are low risk because, for example, Bitcoin can do plus 1%, other token will do plus 50% or 20% or 10%. If Bitcoin decide to cough down, some tokens will go to go back to their listing price. Understand? So such tokens or such coins like Bitcoin, you see, they are low risk tokens. We also have others that are what? Medium risk. So for me, I can categorize medium risk as major altcoins, maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of them. Major altcoins, you can say ARB, you can say ARB, XRP, um, Bitcoin Cash, Zcash, a whole lot of them. Those other blockchain tokens, that are doing well as well. They are, we can say they are medium risk tokens. Then very high risk tokens are tokens like MEMS. They can pump within a minute, and the next, when you just blink your eye, is zero. You understand? So what we advise is that a major percent, the highest part of your portfolio should always be on low risk. Should always be on low risk. So the mid percentage of your um, portfolio should be on medium risk, while the lowest percentage of your portfolio should be on medium. You should be on the lesser part of your portfolio should be on high risk token. So how does the investment cycle go in your personal wallet? Even for example, if you have $100, you put $30 into Bitcoin and Ethereum. I won't advise Bitcoin for now, but you can do Ethereum, you can do BNB, you can do XRP, you can do Solana. Okay. Then there are other mid-risk tokens like SU, Arbitrum, Optimism, those altcoins. Okay. So how does it go? Your long-term goal, your long-term goal is to invest. We even recommend you put just 20% or less on meme tokens. So when you put 20% or less on meme tokens, they might even give you more returns than your mid and low risk assets. But the goal is that you know that over time, tokens in your low risk and medium risk are tokens that are building infrastructure, while the other ones are just cruising. Just like Prince was saying that he's looking for the next Shiba Inu. Okay? You need to also go and study the different crash seasons of Shiba Inu. I hope you will not be scared. Okay? So your goal is to invest less than 20% or less in very volatile or high risk assets. And when you get profit, the first thing you do is to take out your capital. The second thing you do is to start transferring your profit from your high risk assets to your low risk and mid risk assets, because those are the ones that would last the test of time. Okay. So yeah, we have come to the end of this class. I'm going to call it a day here, but I want to take questions before I go. No questions. Excellent. That means I'm going to ask now. Can't finish teaching and say you don't have questions. Friends, go ahead.
Okay. Uh, Thank you for the section. It was very impactful session. Yeah. So basically, my own question is now you are telling me that I should go and do my own research on the next Shiba Inu. Are you there?
It's not good. So can you come?
So you said I should go and do my research on the next Shiba Inu. Hello.
Okay. Now there are a lot of things we did not look into. There are a lot of things we did not look into, especially how to do research. We just did a highlight. Research is even much more in depth than that. Okay, so you need amount of money with with those kinds of meme tokens. You need to identify a trend early enough. Okay, you need to identify a trend early enough. What is the narrative behind that trend? Most importantly, when you're looking at that, um, when you're looking at that, you also need to look at the community. The community is very, very important. The community of Shiba Inu is very strong. You can liken what is going on with Shiba Inu as a dead with what is going on with a project called WikiCat. The community is so strong, massively behind. Everybody is self-determined, self-propelled, and self-motivated towards the project. So these are projects that you look into that you know that this project is going to be a multi-billion dollar project. So yeah,
Okay. Thank you
go
for that.
ahead with your question.
So okay. Now let's assume that I have $30 to invest on spot trading. So will you advise I diversify or I base on one project? Did you get my question?
Okay, remember what I said. The other time I was giving an instance of what of yeah, I got the question. I was giving an instance of somebody who has um what's it called now? Giving an instance of somebody who has $100. Now, remember how I started. The $30 that you have is per uh which how what's the period? Remember I talked about having disposable income. So when is the next income stream coming in for you? Okay, because sometimes when we start looking at buying behavior or investing, we can tailor down certain things to the unique customer, to the person in particular. Why? Because let's say, for example, after proper discussion with you or analysis, you get to discover that okay, this $30 comes in every 2 months, or every 3 months. And you can now say, okay, let's buy into project ABC because they are in this season of their projects. Okay, when the next $30 comes in, okay, this other token will still be in considerable the same price or lower. Can I say, okay, let's buy this one that have more priority based on time frame and the other one. Okay, so your $30 you can still divide it and buy other tokens. You know, our my assistant at the office was it before I traveled to just around August. There was a token that I was like, okay, there is this narrative that is coming up, and this token is going to do well. Sure. How much do you have? She was like, okay, I have just 5,000. That 5,000 she gave me to buy it, convert it to some cryptos and send to her wallet was just around $3. I divided that $3 into, um, I bought some tokens for $1, bought another one with less than $1. You know, there were two other tokens that I bought with $1 and one other one with less than $1. Those ones were still what they were. But the about two other tokens that I bought with $1 and the other one to $1. I think one of those projects that I bought with $1 eventually gave her $60 within August, September, October. $1 gave her $60. So
Wow.
what am I saying is you invest based on your capacity. You invest based on your capacity. So don't go to X and you say people are investing with $1,000. I just bought, or somebody will come out and say, I have $20,000. Which coin would I buy? Don't look at those people. Sometimes they don't even have that money, or they do, whichever one is not your business. So what you do is that this person that have $1 million, if he buys a particular token and you buy that percent, it still goes 20% for you. Okay. So your joy should be that you don't need to look at someone else's money. So if you have $30, you can still diversify your portfolio. Okay. Can still diversify your portfolio. $5 or $10 across three coins, something of that nature. Okay.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate. So, can I see ask this also?
You're welcome.
Okay, can you shed more light on the
Yeah, go
conviction
ahead.
part? Yeah, can you shed more light on the conviction part, like when making investments in crypto trading? Like, what should come first? Like, should we always consider our conviction as a top priority, or what's your say about that? Thank you.
If you follow through all what I've said, your conviction is out of the information at your disposal. You don't act based on emotion. Your conviction, when I say conviction, I'm not talking about emotion.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
talking about the fact that based on your research, like there is no doubt, there is no doubt after we hit $10 within the next 3, 4 years, it might even come earlier than that. There is no doubt. And I'm saying that because of what I've seen in this space and um, what the project is all about and the team behind the project. Do you understand? So if you are buying into a project, you are buying out of conviction of what you know about that project. And it can also change. Certain things can change over time. That's why you need to follow things up. So the team can become compromised, the project can become compromised. So you also want to watch out for uh, all those things. As regards the crypto research, like I said, I've given us most of the fundamentals. I've given us most of the fundamentals. If you want to get more details about it, then you have to enroll for our research class, blockchain and cryptocurrency research class. Okay? Yeah. Any other question?
Okay, that was all. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other question from anybody? Okay, okay. No questions. So, I think I'm going to leave the mic for our head of education. I think she's here, Amani. So I don't know if she has something to add to what I've said or have any contribution to make before we call it a day. Okay, also, Anne is also here, our community manager. So yeah, you guys are welcome. Gloria, I think Mbani and Jay had Prince has been here all this while. So yeah, Amani, over to you. I don't know if you are free to talk.
Okay, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone on the call. Um, Obviously, from today's call, I'm sure that each and every one of us has learned something, especially with respect to how, like, the mindsets we use when we're buying tokens. And um, I love when he was talking about like risk, like putting in what you can risk, that risk mindset, because I think I had like a misconception about that. But this class gave me clarity about it. So I was not like fully saying something or reacting. That's because I was on the road. But I grabbed something from the class for me. Thank you so much, sir, for today's class. I don't. Okay, everybody have asked their question, and obviously, if you have any more question, you can definitely ask in the group chat, and you'll be answered. So that's it for me from my end. I don't know, Anne, are you here? Um, okay. So I feel like Anne is not here right now. Okay, okay, okay. Do you have anything to say? You can meet your mic and let us hear from you.
Okay, GM everyone. Good evening. To Gloria, Sashedra for that wonderful section. For peace. Dolo, Sabi, Dolo. Greetings, everyone. Okay. I don't actually have much to say, but one thing I will just add to what our CEO have already said is that Web3 is more of action than words. Okay, it starts from knowledge. You have been taught. So what are you doing with the knowledge that you have gotten? Starting from the beginning of the class, it was like an eye opener. When I joined, I was like, these people don't know what they are gaining. Because when people like us joined, it was not this. It took time before we were able to get that kind of knowledge. So Web3 is an innovation that have come to stay. It's not going anywhere. Instead, it's as time goes on, the publicity and then the number of people and nations that adopts it increases, it grows. So from all you have been learning, the greatest part of it is working on it. Okay, I have gained this knowledge. Have you posted it? Have you actually like tried to speak with someone and be like, oh, I learned this thing, I learned this thing. Have you actually taken any action with what you are learning? So it's not okay just learning. When you learn and gain the knowledge, you implement. Do you try out? Okay, this is what was taught. Let me try it out. So that's what I have to say. You don't need to have $1,000 before you start investing. I started investing with as low as $5 in the Web3 space. Yes, I made my mistake, learned my lesson, still grew again. So that's it. So that's just what I have to say. As you are learning, try to implement. That's just the best you can do for yourself and for our generation. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, for that. Does anybody have any other thing to say? Gloria, J, Prince, Mbani. Okay, I believe we're all good. Okay, so thank you once more, Sir Shedrack, for today's section. Thank you so much for the
I
knowledge. And
wanted to add something.
okay, you have the mic, sir.
Uh, One thing I want to say it was and that just brought something to my attention. I think I missed that out when I was speaking. And that is the cryptocurrency market is time bound. If you blink, if you blink your eyes for a minute, you could lose so much money. If you blink your eye for is it a minute? If you blink your eye for a second, you could also make so much money. So decisions are made in split of seconds. When I say split of seconds, I mean split of seconds. Uh, in forex in futures trading, there's what they call entry. Entries are very important. Entries determine how long you remain in that trade or in that position. Take for example, Bitcoin was $15,000. Some people bought at $15,000. So even if they've not taken profit as of now, they are still in massive profit. But some persons who were waiting, should we or should we not? Should we or should we not? It came to 15, went to 20, should we or should we not? 30, should we or should we not? 50, should we or should we not? Even those who entered at 50, maybe they are just 20K in profit now. If market still goes down, they might now be in a negative position. So the place of information and knowledge helps you to take quick and decisive information, decisive action. I think Anne talked about action again. Today I was training we had a class today, our career training program. I was teaching them on project management. So while teaching project management, I was looking at the chart. I saw an opportunity. I was like, wow, Bitcoin came down to 81K, created a week, came down again, but it did not break the previous low. It started going back up and formed another week. I saw that as I saw about 3 15 minutes going down. I was like, okay, there's going to be a retracement to the upside. I was like, okay, I'm going to long the market. I was still debating on longing the market. I got carried away, continued what I was teaching. The next time I came, I just got a notification on my phone. BTC is now at 85K. There were other tokens I would have longed and probably made 50%, 100%, or 20% or 30%. But because I just FOMOed, not FOMOed now, because I blinked, got carried away, I lost the opportunity. So sometimes you can quickly take an action and it turns out to be wrong. What do? You've learned. The best thing to do is not to blame yourself, is to ask yourself, why was this a wrong decision? Was I acting out of emotion or was I taking action based on informed information? Okay, so when you take action based on an informed decision, you don't feel bad. Uh, you don't feel bad, but if it turns out to be a wrong one, as long as you took an informed decision. Okay. Now, if also you need to ask yourself why almost every time. So if you take a decision, it turns out to be why. Certain things play out because history repeats itself, the chart repeats itself. When you see certain things playing out, you don't need to think too much. That's why sometimes if I want to place a trade and network it, I can be it can be very frustrating because I know how important every second is. Okay, so over time, if you stay around, somebody says, Denzel Washington says that if you stand around the barber shop long enough, you will get a haircut, whether or not you have money or not. So if you stay around the crypto space, your wealth of experience you will be able to take decisions. Currently, I know that, okay, we are going to see a retracement because I was telling my brother we need a 50% retracement. I've not seen 50% retracement, but we've currently seen up to 40, yeah, seen up to 40% retracement so far. So it's still cool. Okay, we might see a 50%, we might not see a 50% retracement, but we'll see an uptrend. We'll see maybe a short uptrend, maybe to 120 to 100 and another decline that might still bring us lower to maybe 50 or so. But all those things are probability. That's why you need to update yourself with global economics for you to understand what's going on. So, but 2026, middle of 2026 might still be bullish. Why would it be bullish? Because Donald Trump, he wants to share $2,000 to every American, both the middle class and the lower class. Okay, the money generated from tariffs. Okay, and that will be the same. Why are we saying the market is going to pump? Because that's the same thing that happened during COVID. They are sitting $400 every day. So people had so much money at their disposal. All they wanted to do was to, when people have so much money that they have need for, they invest in highly risky assets, like we talked about, liquid assets. They invest in liquid assets. So, so all these things I'm saying, I'm just actually this day, I did not prepare for this class. That's just true. I'm not teaching with anything. I'm just teaching you because I've been teaching this for years and everything is flowing. So that's how it is. It cannot happen with magic. It cannot happen like magic. It's just you being a student. Okay, it's just you being a student of knowledge. I'm a student of knowledge. I love knowledge. I observe, I ask, I think, I ask critical questions. And with that, you'll be a better investor. Okay, feel free to ask questions. Okay, feel free to ask questions. And we would love you guys. I don't know. Let me ask this question before we go. How many of you have disposable funds you would want to invest in crypto? It's very important that you buy your first crypto. Um, all these things you are saying will remain stories if you don't take actions. Even if it's 3,000, 2,000, buy one crypto, put it in your wallet. See your learning continues from there. Okay, your learning continues from there. You get to see what's going on. So yeah, I would like to know how many persons would want to maybe buy one or two cryptos. We can give you free tokens for free. Yeah. I'm saying
I'm
only
Shedrack
invite.
Ekpegbue speaking. I can't hear you.
Even what you do is can give. Okay, I was asking them those persons who are interested to buy tokens. We need them to at least be able to buy at least to do practical. So what we'll do is you guys should join. You guys should talk about to indicate in the training group. You just indicate in the training group, and we'll continue there in the conversation. So I'm done. Amanda, you can go ahead.
Alright. Thank you so much, sir, for this research and recap. And obviously, this class will seriously being intentional about your growth and how you're moving, or rather your conceptions about crypto, blockchain, Web3, and everything in general. So we are intentional. Yeah, that's why we're not looking for numbers. We're looking for people that are serious group. You can join ideas, any token or something that you have in your mind or any research you're working on that people want to try on us here because it's an intentional group. Like I said, it's not just to learn but also to implement, and this is where implementation comes to play. So with that being said, I believe it's a good wrap for each and every one of us this night. Um, do have a good night rest and implement on what you've learned to Shedrack once again for today's class. Good night, everyone. Have a good night rest. Boo. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah.